trust and honesty. What the major political parties have forgotten. We can never trust.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Junubia. My name is Dilmar, and I will be your host for today. I have with me in the studio, as you all know, a very talented South Sudanese musician all the way from the US. Welcome, Yaba Angelos. Welcome to Junubia.
Well, thank you, Tamar. I appreciate the invitation, and also thank you to Genobia for hosting me and allowing me to be part of this interview. So thank you, and I'm privileged and I'm honored for that.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. Guys, share the video if you're watching and let us know where you're watching from. We'll get right into it, as I think many of you have been waiting for this interview. Just a little intro before we get to the questions. Yeah, as you all know, a little bit about Yaba, but his name is Angelo Marco. Is that how you pronounce it? Angelo Marco?
Yes, yes, Angelo Marco.
Great, thank you for clarifying that. So better known by his stage name, which is Yaba Angelos. He went to the US. As you all know, he's a South Sudanese musician based in the US. He went there since 2000, and ever since then, he's been working hard to better his life. He is one of 8 children. Sorry, I'm looking at the laptop, so I'm looking at my notes from there. He's one of 8 children, and he was born in a small town near Juba, South Sudan. As I said, his family migrated to the US in 2000, and ever since then, he's been working hard to better his life. In fact, he started music, or started his music journey in 2001, correct?
So officially, I've started about 2008, but I think publicly, officially, but as far as just doing music in general from church, 2001.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I found one of your songs back from 2001 when I was doing a bit of research. So I'm like, wow, it's only been 1 year. He's been in the country for 1 year and he already started producing music.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So he's in addition to his talent in music and his vocals and all that stuff, he plays guitar, bass, piano, and drums. Yaba, welcome once again. Can you tell us a little bit of, obviously you're from the Equatorial region, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood?
Well, thank you once again for having me. My childhood obviously was born in South Sudan in Juba, a particular place. It's Atlabara. I think some of the folks in Juba will know about that. But nowadays I do claim Gudele. That's where my family live right now back home. But yeah, so born in South Sudan in Atlabara and then moved to the north in Khartoum with my mother. And it was just me and my mother. And then later on, my younger siblings were born, and then we migrated to Egypt. From Egypt, we came to the United States. I am the oldest in the family. I am Amadi tribe by birth, but I'm a South Sudanese in general by blood. So just a very simple guy, a very simple human being who just enjoys music and just loves to entertain and just giving the people the best I can.
Yes, you are definitely very humble. A lot of people can testify to that. So where in the US are you based, and what's the South Sudanese community like? Just briefly, once again.
So I'm currently based in Nashville, Tennessee. That is in the southern region of the United States. I've been living in Nashville, Tennessee since 2006. My family, my mother, my father, and my younger siblings that are here in the United States, they live in Washington, D.C. So I'm a D.C. native,
Mm,
but physically live in Nashville, Tennessee. So Nashville, Tennessee is my home now for many years. The community in Nashville, Tennessee is very big as far as South
yeah.
Sudanese. We have a diversity, from the
Mm,
equatorial regions, from the Denka Nuer, Barghazal, and all these different places. So the community in Nashville is very, like, they work together pretty well in terms of, if there's any community needs, family needs, they come together, they celebrate. So it's a wonderful community here. That's one of the reasons why I still live in this city.
fantastic. That's actually one of the fans. Someone asked me when I said I was interviewing you. They said, "Ask you about the South Sudanese community and how they are." So
Yeah.
that was in one of my questions. But what inspired you to become a musician?
I think, music is one of those things that I believe was embedded within my soul, I think from birth. I started music in church back in Dar es Salaam, Jabal Olia, in the north in Khartoum. My uncle used to have a guitar, so my uncle would go to work. He was a pastor, so he would go to work and leave his guitar, and I would just grab it and I was strumming around. And of course, he'll come home and beat me because he thought I was messing around with the guitar. At the time, I was in the age of about 9 years old. So I will watch him every single day in church playing. And somehow I will watch how he'll put his hand on the guitar notes. And then I started practicing by myself.
Yeah,
And then one
sorry
day
to
he came
interrupt
from,
you. Sorry. You're breaking up a little bit. Your network seems to be a little bit weak.
I'm on the Wi-Fi. You hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just the screen keeps going, keeps breaking,
Okay.
not quite clear. It's a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But let's continue. Hopefully, it will get better.
Okay. 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 Yeah, so just basically started off from church, and then just been playing in church for many years. And then when we came to Egypt, I continued on just serving God. When I came to America, I found my purpose of not just serving God, but also be able to motivate people through my music, in a diaspora area. So as a result, just picked it up. My inspiration is just to make changes in people's life. I hope my music inspires the next
Mm,
person to be able to pick up instrumentals, to be able to write a song, to be able to motivate the next generation. And that's the whole goal of living is right to inspire the next person to do better.
mm, Thank you. That's wonderful. What do you enjoy most about music or being a singer?
Uh, to be able to tell a story, I think as a singer, you have the power to tell anything you want to tell people in your music, right? So I always say this: musicians have so much power than a politician. The reason why, because if a politician today stands up and talk, nobody wants to listen for too long, right? But if a musician picks up a
Mm,
music and then writes a song on a music, they'll be able to convey a message. And so for me, I want to be able to be a messenger. I want to be able to tell a story, either a story to make people laugh, a story to make people fall in love, a story to inspire people, and a story to just to make some to uplift people in general. And so that's really my true passion of music, and I will hopefully that will continue going, and hopefully we'll manifest something great out of that.
oh, sounds great. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. Yeah, I'm inspired too already by what you have been saying. Yeah, but when most people start music, they face challenges, or almost any career. What are some of the challenges you face as a new musician?
So to begin with, obviously, South Sudan music industry is fresh, and to make it even difficult, the fact that I live in the West. So early on in my
Mm,
career is one financial. How do
mm,
I get to use money to be able to make music? As you know, in the diaspora, there's
mm,
a lot of studios, but if you want to record, you have to spend money. But in diaspora also we have bills. So the biggest
true.
challenge for me early in my career is not having the finance to be able to record music. So I had to teach myself. I literally went, grabbed the equipment from different stores, musical stores, and brought the microphone. And then YouTube, that was the beginning of YouTube, right? So I had to do some
Mm,
researches. I have to learn how does the microphone work? How does the recording software work? As far as video, I had to work with one of the pastors that I went the church that I used to go to. I will go up there and I would tell the pastor, listen, I have a project that I need to use your camera. So he will give me the camera and I will
mm,
go to the lake, turn the camera on, and take a good friend of mine. His name is Onen Dominique, has been part of my career. So basically the hustle to be able to get this work done without any financing. The second challenging is
mm,
how do I get my music to be heard not just in the West over here, but also back home? Because I was doing my music
mm,
and I continue to do my music for my people, right? So obviously this Hawajat,
mm,
they're not gonna hear out of Juba and all of these things. They won't understand it. They will like the rhythm, but the people that really need to listen to the music is the
mm,
other people back home. So the challenge was to get the stuff on YouTube, find the radio stations, get in touch with the radio stations, with even a presenter, and then send this music to them in order for them to be able to at least listen to
yeah.
it and then share it with their people. So over the years, has been the biggest challenge, but now things got much better. Financially, I'm in a better place. I'm able to sponsor my music. I'm able to shoot my own visuals. And also, I have a great relationship with a lot of the presenters and radio stations and TV stations back home and throughout Africa.
Fantastic. Sounds good. One of the comments, I'm reading as well as I go. One of the viewers wants to know the story behind your stage name.
So the name Yaba, obviously every artist wants to come up with a stage name. So for me, I went through a lot of lists. I came up with American English list, and then I'll look it up online and Google. Somehow that name is already taken. So I said, you know what? I need to have an identity that keeps me as a person. Obviously, my real name is Angelo. So a lot of people used to call me Angelosi. I said, you know what? Angelosi sounds pretty catchy. But however, there's a lot of Angelos out there. So there's a lot of them are being called Angelosi as well. So I said, okay, do I go with that or do I need to come up with something else? The name Yaba came in because my late father, before he passed away when I was young, back in Dar es Salaam, Dwayne and Khartoum. So when he would play music, because he was a doctor and a musician as well. So he would play music, and then I would leave. I could be playing soccer or football outside. I would leave that and then come inside and then sit and listen. So as a result, he thought I was very mature from a young age, so he started calling me Yaba, 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 Yaba. So, so I was like, you know what? It sounds like an old name, but you know what? I went through my music all the way to my older age, right? So I want to give myself little Angelosi or young Angelosi, because if I'm 85 years old, I don't want people to call me young Angelosi or little Angelosi, right? I want people to call me Yaba Angelosi because that's gonna suit my music name, and then just maturity in general. That's my name to place.
Okay. The network is playing up a little bit. Again. Yeah. Okay. Maybe. So you have your Wi-Fi on, right? Like you said.
Yeah, Wi-Fi is on, yeah.
Okay, now it's better now. Maybe try not to move too much. Yeah.
Okay.
Try not to move. Okay. Can you what are some of the hobbies and interests apart from music? When you're not doing music, what do you do in your spare time?
That's a great question because over the years, obviously, as a young man, I used to travel a lot and just play sports. I used to play basketball. That was one of my passions. I had a dream to go to NBA at one point. But now, just as a young adult, man, just spending time with my family, man. I spend time with my daughter. These are some of the passion, some of the things that I do because it's no longer about just me. It's also about her and her future. So I do a lot of spending time with her and just traveling here and there. But when I travel, it's more so for music. I either to go do a production or to go for a show and so on and so forth. But the biggest passion now is just literally just spending it with my daughter.
Wonderful. So you're a family man.
Yes.
That's really good to hear. What are some of the tips and advice you would give an upcoming South Sudanese artist?
The biggest thing is identifying yourself as an artist. A lot of the musicians, the young artists that come into the music game, they don't have an identity. They want to do music just for a simple fact, either for the fame or want for people to know them and for the girls and so on and so forth, right? But identifying yourself as a musician, why do you want to do music? You have to know your whys. I always tell the young musicians, you need to write 5 whys of why you want to do music. 5 whys. Write that up and then put it in your mirror, put it in your room, put it anywhere. Reasons why, because that's going to help you later on in your music career. If you are going through struggles and challenges, you'll be able to take those 5 whys and motivate yourself and put you back on the right track. So identify yourself, find your identity, find your purpose, right? And then network and also work on the music. The quality matters because a lot of times we rush to do something, right? So find the right producers, find the right engineers, find the right videographers that can give you a great quality. If anything, get a manager, somebody who can manage you, somebody who can tell you if you're going in the right direction or not. Uh, and then more importantly, network as much as possible. Be humble, work with your fan bases. Do not be stuck up. Do not be, hey, I'm bigger than everybody, so therefore I'm not gonna talk to anybody, because the fans is what's gonna make you or break you. Um, Last
Mm,
but not least, you need to be patient, because this journey is going to be long. It's not going to take. I've been doing this for about over 12 years now, but I'm still knocking on that door, right? It hasn't opened up to the level where I want it to be. So you have to be able to be patient. You're going to be challenged through many things. But in
mm,
terms of all, if you remain focused, remain
mm,
humble, and remain consistent, I think you'll be in the right track for sure.
mm. A lot of juicy advice there. I hope anyone that is interested in music and wants to start that journey is listening and will take this advice on board. Great advice so far. Yeah, but tell me about your best performance. Where was that, and why was it your best performance?
Oh, that's a good one. Ah, man, that's a good one. So, wow. I, I think as a musician, every show that I personally go to, even if there's a three people or four people in it, I always want to make sure I bring my best. Um, but one of the notable performances that I can remember throughout my career, um, one I probably can say my first show in Canada. This was early 2010. It was called Cheers for Freedom. Cheers for
Mm,
Freedom. And I recall a promoter named Jizzle took me over there. So I think that's one of the more memorable one. Other one I'll probably say Australian tour in Melbourne, I believe so, because I did 5 shows within Australia as well. But I think Melbourne had a different energy to it, and Adelaide, Brisbane, yes, Melbourne and Brisbane. I think those are the two places that I can still remember the performances and the energy and how much my people embraced me, took me in as theirs, and I felt home, and it was just wonderful. But apart from that, I think there's a lot of other great performances that I personally felt like I did a great job on. Um, but these are the notable one that stands out to me for sure.
thank you. Well, I think I met you in one of your Melbourne, so your only Melbourne show, and
Yeah,
I remember that night. It was amazing. I really
thank you,
enjoyed the energy in the environment, and I still, many years on, I still have the memory. So
thank
that was
you.
definitely a great performance. Yeah. Um, why did you choose music as a career? As opposed to any other career?
Well, I think it's just I identified that this is my purpose in life. Um, Young
Mm,
age, I had so many things that I wanted to do. I wanted to be a like an aerospace engineer. I wanted to work with NASA. Obviously, with my father
mm,
being a doctor, one of my aspirations also to become a doctor, a surgeon.
mm,
But all along these days of my young age, I found myself gravitating more toward music. Like I would go to school, come home, I'm doing music. I would go to church, I'm doing music. I'm going to my friend's house, I'm doing music. So, as time goes, as time went, shall I say, when I started doing music, I started seeing that the impact that I was making into people's life. And as a result, that
mm,
became my surf of purpose in life, and I just picked it up and ran with it. There's many things I could have done, but I feel like music is one of those things that I want to accomplish and be a legacy for myself and my family.
mm. Wonderful. You've collaborated with Quincy and Dominic. Some of the most gifted musicians in South Sudan as well, who's been around for a long time. What was it like working with those
So
two musicians?
yeah, absolutely. With Dynamic and Queen Z, these are obviously some of my inspirations. We all started around the same time. Obviously, Dynamic being longer in the game than I. Um, and Quincy as well. So for me to be able to work with them, it was one of those, you learn a lot from somebody who's been in the game already. Um, you learn how they move, you learn how they record, you learn how to mix and master, you learn how to do shows and how they promote themselves. So it was great for myself because I was able to take these tips from Quincy. I was able to take that tips from Dynamic, which I still take tips from him. So we always communicate on WhatsApp and things like that. Um, but it was an honor. It was a great, 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 great time. And I would not trade that for anything else.
Fantastic. Yeah, but it's been really good having you here. I'm learning a lot, and you're giving me great answers. It's just wonderful. And I don't know what it would be like if we were, doing this interview face to face. So it's
That'd be great.
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
As you mentioned, you're a father. You have a beautiful daughter. How do you balance family life and responsibilities and work?
Well, I think in general is I have set structure of plans in terms of my music. Now I have certain days that I do music, certain days that I get in the studio to record. Obviously, my daughter is busy. She have like a Head Start classes that I take her to, and now she's in elementary school. She likes dancing as well, so these are on certain days of the week. So on the days of the week that she has these classes, I ensure that I don't schedule any recording sessions or video sessions or things like that. If I do it, it'll be more like during the morning times, and then evening times is just more times like for her. And then just balancing the music. Obviously, I know what I want to do. I know what project I want to work on. I know what is the deadline for that project that I put for myself.
Yeah.
And I kind of prioritize
Yeah.
that with my family and also music as well. So it works out well for me.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, I wanna go to a song now, if that's okay, and just a quick break, and we'll come back.
Sure.
Stay tuned, guys. If you have questions, feel free to ask them, and yeah, but we'll answer them for you.
Absolutely.
Just quickly looking for the song. I'm sorry.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pairs. The device pair successful.
Okay. Some people are saying they can't hear. I'm not sure this is the loudest. I might just get back to Yaba and ask him, how do you reflect, obviously you've, released this song during the referendum of South Sudan. Um, and obviously your motive is very obvious that you wanted to encourage South Sudanese to go and vote. It's quite an emotional song, listening to it now and trying to, what's going on back home. How do you reflect almost 10 years on?
Well, we all understood that South Sudan, it's a baby, right? It's a toddler. We all played a role into promoting the referendum because we know for many years the oppression that we've been getting from the north. And so, a lot of us wanted to have our own country. So for me as an artist, I just wanted to play a role into and just raising awareness for people to be able to go and vote, because that's the biggest voice that we had, to be able to separate from Sudan and be our own independent country. So at the same time too, we understood that a toddler have to crawl first before they can start balancing the walk and before they can start running and so on and so forth. And so we knew that it wasn't going to take 3-4 years for us to be able to be very stable and prosperous. A lot of challenges was ahead. So for me in general, looking at it now from 2011 all of it to now, how far we became, we are going in the right direction, right? A lot of people might not agree with it, or might not see my point of view or anything like that. Anytime if there's a peace, I believe like that's the right direction, and it's been so far since the last civil war that we had in our country. Things are going in the right direction. The government is finding a way to be able to work with each other, and then the people in general, we are becoming more collectively together. If you look at the capital city, Juba, it's very diverse. Different people from different regions within the country all coming together to do something great. A testament to that, music-wise, we came a long way, but however, we are heading in the right direction. You have a lot of young, talented musicians that are doing phenomenal job in South Sudan currently, and hopefully, if we go in that steps of directions within the next few 5, 6, 7, 10 years, I believe we'll be going in the right direction, and then those fruits that we've been sowing, it can finally sow a seed for us to be able to enjoy it, and also our kids and grandkids.
A lot of positive things there, and that's what we need. That's hope. So I'm interested to know, what legacy do you want to leave behind?
I think for me, you know, I don't like materialistic things. It doesn't really drive me much. I, I don't want to have a name that, there's no specific things that I really want people to know me as. The biggest thing for me is just
Mm,
set a foundation for the next generation. Because, I am 36 right
mm,
now, right? I'm not getting any younger. I'm becoming a true Yaba, right? so, for myself, I want to be able to set up. I
No
want to be
way,
able to.
not yet. It's still far from that, trust me.
So I want to be able to set a foundation, build a foundation for
Mm,
the next generation. Meaning,
yeah.
the challenges that we have in South Sudan right now, we don't have the best recording studios, right? We have to go to
Mm,
Uganda's Kenya to record. We don't have the
mm,
best production facility in terms of video, right? So for me in the West, the fact that I'm in America, I am learning many of these opportunities and skill sets. And I'm also
mm,
getting sponsorship from these different people here in the West to be able to give us the best cameras, to be able to give us the best
mm,
recording studio equipment. So within the next few years, we want to be able to build a facility in South Sudan that is geared toward the industry as well, just doing a quality work that can compete not just in the East Africa region, but also throughout Africa and potentially even in America and so on and so forth. So that's the legacy that we want to set. I'm pretty sure Dynamic and some of these guys that have been in the game for a long time, they can attest to that. This is that's what we all want to do. Like, we're not going to enjoy
mm.
this industry. The next generations are the ones that truly going to enjoy from this, and hopefully they're going to be able to take this flag and take it to another height for sure.
Mm, wonderful. Um, there's a comment there, but I think we're all entitled to our opinions about what's happening in South Sudan. I don't know if you can read comments. Yeah, but can you see the comments?
I can't see it up here, but I can pull it up on my phone. Would you mind reading it,
That's
please?
all right. Don't worry about.
Mhm.
Sure. Someone says it's Isaac Kuyang. Says, come on, my brother, the government are not doing anything good for the citizens, for the country, or the citizen of the country.
So,
So that's
so
because of your response.
yeah,
Mm,
obviously everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I do respect my brother's opinion. I'm not going to go back and forth. Um, I think no matter whoever it is that we have in the seat right now, no matter who you bring or put in the presidency, everybody's not going to be satisfied. That's my biggest take out of that, right? There's always going to be somebody who's going to say, well, if this person's in the seat, is going to do a better job because if they can do X, Y, Z. I feel like we need to tackle few steps at a time before we can tackle, bigger, broader scope of things. Currently, right now, it's peaceful. Things are going
mm,
gradually in the right direction. I might not agree to it, but I have to support it. Maybe the vision could get better as time goes. But obviously, everybody has their own opinion, and I respect that. But I feel like if we find a way to work together, despite the differences that we have, we'll be able to accomplish a lot of great things.
yeah, and it's also good to be positive and have hope, right? Without hope, you won't be able to achieve some of your goals, if there are challenges. So I love your outlook on the issue. And we can't all blame, be negative and always criticize. Some of us have to give us that hope. Yeah, but what's your message for South Sudanese musicians globally?
Uh, working together. Working together. Recently, we had a music conference with a new company, new South Sudanese company. It's called Pseudo Hits. It had
Mm,
many different, artists, entrepreneurs, stakeholders in South Sudan music industry. One of the
mm,
things that we got out of that is how do we work together as a one people, right? How
mm,
do we
mm,
motivate one another? How do we carry each other up? You know, and that starts
mm,
off from people such as myself, Dynamic, Silver X, WJ the King, Cotton JJ. Some of these guys who've been, doing music for so long, it starts people like us to be able to lead by example. Meaning, if a young artist is doing something positive, we need to be able to inspire and push them forward. We need to be able to sponsor some of the artists because now I'm in a financial position where I can sponsor people, right? Not just myself. So it takes a person like me to be able to lift another young artist as well up. And then just in general, just the unity that we really need, not just between the artists, but also between the promoters, between the DJs. And then if we have that unities, the people would embrace us and the people will support us automatically. I think a lot of us are focusing on, well, the fans are not supporting me, it's not supporting us, it's not doing this. But we need to work on ourselves first before we can, give the fans the opportunity to support us. And I feel like if that unity is there, will make things a little much easier, and hopefully the industry will prosper.
Fantastic. What we are reaching the end of this interview. You've given me more than I expected. Thank you. What are your plans? Your upcoming projects and plans for probably next year, because this year's almost ending.
Yep. Yeah, great question. So for me, I have been working for the past few months. Obviously, the people that have been following me really close. I've only released one video this year, the beginning of the year, which is called Something About You. But behind the scenes, I've been working on new projects. And obviously, we talked about how do we elevate the quality of South Sudan music and visuals and things like that. So these are the things that I've been really passionate about for the past couple of months. So I have a couple of music videos that are coming in this year and also next year. I know this year is only 2 months left, 2.5 months left, but I'll be dropping some materials that people hopefully can enjoy. In terms of next year, I'm planning to do, me and my team are planning a few other.
Device is ready to pairs.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's
continue.
okay. So next year, one of the biggest plans that I'm hoping to do.
Device pair successful.
You're fine. One of the plans that I want to do, and with some of the artists that in diaspora, we want to be able to do a big tour, right? Big musical tour. It's been a while since I've toured, since my Australian tour. So I want to do a couple of shows. I want to do shows in US, Canada, Australia, UK, Morocco, Egypt, like 2 shows in Egypt, that is in Cairo and Alexandria. There's a lot of students in India, so some of them has been talking about taking me up there. So hopefully we'll do a show in India, and then Sudan, Kenya, Uganda, and then we'll finish it off in South Sudan with a big tour. So hopefully maybe 3 shows within South Sudan. So that's the plan for next year. Hopefully we'll plan it really well with all these different promoters, and we'll have the right musicians to be able to tour with us. And hopefully everybody that comes and enjoy these shows will be very entertaining, and hopefully, we just enjoy it in general.
Fantastic. So a lot happening next year.
Yes.
And that's good, because this year has been so bad, especially for artists not being able to tour and perform, right? So all the best with all of that happening. Last question is, how can you mention some of the social media platforms where your fans or your new fans can follow you?
Absolutely. So all my music, it's online in all the different platforms, in iTunes, Spotify, just all the different online platforms. All you have to do is just search for Yaba Angelosi in Google. That's YABA space ANGELOSI. Search that in Google. It should give you all my information, all the platforms. Facebook, it's facebook.com/Yaba Angelosi Music. Instagram, it is at Yaba Angelosi, or if you want to search it, it's Instagram.com/Yaba Angelosi. Same thing with Twitter. And there's just many different online outlet platforms out there that you can find my music.
Fantastic. Thank you. Someone said you should do a show in Tennessee as well. They're waiting for you.
Tennessee is home. It's easy.
Yeah, that's all. Thank you so much. This has been great chatting with you about music, and yeah, it's wonderful. I wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll see you next year in Australia. I'll be the first one there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, thank you so much for having me. You're doing a phenomenal, fantastic job. Yourself and the entire Genovia admin and the crew. You guys keep up the great representation of who we are as people of South Sudan and also the great work that you're doing. So eventually, hopefully, we can get more artists in these platforms. And I would definitely recommend for them to be able to join you. Great questions. I enjoyed it. And hopefully, we'll get to do this again in the future. And for everybody that tuned in, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you for all your questions and all your comments as well. God bless you all.
Right. Thank you. And bless you too. All right, we've reached the end of the program today, guys. Thank you for being with us. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I am calm and everything, but I enjoyed everything that he said. That's how I get to observe everything and really, take it in. So thank you all for joining, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Stay blessed, wherever you may be. Yeah, thank you. Wali nagifu wahid. Thank you, guys. Bye.